If you're watching this course, I expect that at some point you're going to be making SharePoint sites. And here's how. Now, what I'm going to show you expects two things. One, that you already have an existing site collection with at least a top-level site in it, so you've got somewhere to go. And two, that you have high permission, basically that you have the SharePoint permission called full control, usually done by putting you in the owners group. Well, how do you know if you have that permission? Well, it's fairly easy. You go to your Site Actions menu and see, do I have the option called New Site? Well, if you do, things are looking good. If you don't, then you need to find whoever is your Site Collection Administrator or your Farm Administrator, in some places that's the same person, and see if you can get that permission. So I'm going to choose Site Actions New Site. Now when I do this, SharePoint is very concerned about exactly what site I was in when I chose that option, because it's going to create this new site as a subsite of that. It will be underneath that. So you can't just use the Site Actions New Site to create a new site in its own new site collection. It doesn't work that way. It's always going to be a subsite. If I have Silverlight, what I'll see is the very graphical create window here with a lot of the different icons that I can click on and see a brief description about what this site means. Now, if you don't have Silverlight installed, you'll see a much simpler, much more straightforward web page version, but the options are the same. You don't get anything new in either option. You just get a different way of looking at them. The available site templates may look different from what you have simply because it's very sensitive to the license that you have of SharePoint. If you have SharePoint Foundation, you'll see a few sites. If you have SharePoint Server, the Standard Edition, you'll see a few more. And if you have SharePoint Server, the Enterprise Edition, you'll see even more. You may even find that your farm administrators have either removed or added other site templates. But these are all sites that right now I could create in SharePoint. We've got Records Center and Projects Web Databases, Multi-Page Meeting Workspace, and the good old team sites and document workspaces. When you choose one of these site templates, what you're really choosing is a combination of lists and libraries all wrapped up and given a name. So if I choose, say, the document workspace, all I really have to do is give it a title such as, let's call this one Annual Report. That will be the title of the site and will be on every page in the site. Then I need to say at what address is this site, what URL. Now because I was in a previous SharePoint site at ldcsharepoint.com/site/classic, I have no choice that this new site will have its own URL based on the parent one /something. In this case, let's call this Annual RPT. I'm going to click Create. It makes that site and it puts me in it. This is now a subsite. This is beneath my site that exists at sites/classic, which is a team site. If it doesn't look very obvious just from looking at the website itself, one clue would be looking at the Navigate Up button, which would tell me I'm in the home page of the site called Annual Report 2010, which is underneath the site called Team Site. I could even take this one step further. From this site, where one level down, I could create another site. Site Actions, New Site. Let's make, for example, a blank site. I'll call it empty. All a blank site is just a SharePoint site with no lists and libraries. You're intended to add your own. Now, when I'm creating a site, I could just click the Create button, but there is a More Options button as well, which allows you to go a bit deeper into the information, give it a description if you want one. But the important stuff is here. Permissions. By default, when you create a site, it will be using the same permissions as its parent site. And as much as you possibly can, that's probably what you want to keep. While it's quite easy to use unique permissions, as you can see, I can just click the box here. It becomes much more of a headache to maintain further down the line. So I'm going to leave the default. I have a couple of navigation options. Do I want to display this site on the quick launch bar of the parent site? Yes or no. Do I want to display it on the top link bar? Again, the quick launch is really navigation on the left. The top link bar is the navigation on the top. I'm just going to leave all the defaults and click Create. It creates that new site and puts me in it. Again, the clue would be using the Navigate Up button. It would tell me I'm in the home page of the site called Empty, which is underneath the site called Annual Report 2010, which is underneath the site called Team Site. Team Site is the top level site. Everything else is a subsite. Or what if I just created this empty site and realized I made it with the wrong title or the wrong template or at the wrong location? Well, I can just go ahead and delete it. Every site in SharePoint has its own settings and its own ability to be deleted or changed. If I'm in the site and I want to make sure what my ribbon is saying, yes, it's just saying empty, I'm in the right place, I'll go to my Site Actions menu and click Site Settings. Again, I'll get a separate site settings for every one of the sites that exists in SharePoint. And on this Site Settings page, kind of buried a little bit under Site Actions, is the option to delete this site. When I click that, it's going to give me a pretty dire warning message that deleting this website will permanently destroy all content and user information, including document libraries and lists and settings and permission levels. This is certainly not something you want to do casually, even though you can do it very quickly. I'm going to double check that yes, I'm in the place that I expected to be. I'm in the empty site. That's good. I'm going to click delete. Yes, I'm sure again. Click OK. The website's been deleted. I click Go Back to Site, and in this case, we're jumping back to the top level site here. Now, if you have that permission, the ability to make a new site, feel free to explore these. If the description that you see when you select one isn't good enough, create one. Because in 10 minutes, you could just repeat these steps and create a copy of every single site template there is. Explore them, and then if you want, delete them. The best way to learn the site templates is by using them rather than reading about them. You'll quickly learn if it's something that you're interested in or if it isn't.